So our first question was, what has been the most difficult part of taking care of your baby so far?
Well, the most difficult part was forgetting him in classes while switching. And then, like, also, if I needed to go to the restroom, I would have to, like, either take him with me or have my partner, Luisa, watch him. But sometimes I would just, I would just leave him on the table and not realize it. And then, what was it?
Just like carrying him around school.
Oh yeah, carrying him around school because like we already have bags to carry and like our binders. So just adding more weight in our bags and like getting used of holding him in your arm and then your arm being sore.
And also like I left him a couple of times at home and I had to call home so they can bring him. But if it was an actual child, I know I can't possibly do that. Mm-hmm. But it is like, it does open your eyes and like, wow, this is really hard. And it's like, you can't really deal with school and deal with the child at the same time. So that was something that was really difficult. And then another thing would be, like since it's a bag of sugar baby, he would leak a lot. So it's like kind of sort of similar to a real baby because it has to poop and pee all the time and you gotta change his diaper every once in a while. So yeah, that's something. So the question is, do you think you would be ready for a baby now? Why or why not? Honestly, I don't think I would be ready to have a baby right now because I'm in school and I'm only 16. So, I mean, yeah, kids can get out of control sometimes and then they want to do stuff, but they don't really take in consideration the consequences. So, I would not be ready for a baby, especially like I have a job, but it's not like it's paying me to pay for baby things or like my rent and bills, you know? So I think that I would not be ready for a baby. Also, I mean, no one teaches you how to be a mother, but I'm barely a child, so that would not work.
So the question was if I was ready to have a baby. To be honest, I'm not. Because it's a lot to handle, and with the little assignments we did in class about how much like a baby costs and like all the stuff they need, I feel like I wouldn't have the money. I think it would just be really expensive because I would have to pay for it, and I feel like my parents would help me, but they wouldn't really help me because it's my child. And it would be like on my plate. And even just by having the sack of sugar, carrying it around was so much for me because I would forget him. And I would treat him like a real baby because I thought it was a real baby for me. But I don't think I'm ready for a child, and I'm not planning to have a child yet until like I'm older. But it's a lot to handle.
Our next question was, how has your professions and work on the budget affected your perception on how expensive a baby is? So I feel like I don't want to have as many kids as I said I would, because from what I looked up and how much a baby costs, it's a lot of money. And it's only for one child. So imagine having like 4 or 5 kids, and especially we had to limit that with the kind of jobs we had, so that was kind of hard.
For me, I think it would be difficult to, the same, I wouldn't want as many kids because even though you still have baby showers and you get gifts from people, you probably like don't have the same taste or you don't like them. But it's still expensive, and then like with the profession I had, I feel like I would have to limit myself and the baby to certain things and necessities.
And also like, since he's a baby for now, but you're still gonna have to take care of him kind of for the rest of your life, because once he's born or she's born, you become a mother for no matter how long, like, he lives or she lives, you know?
Oh, and saving up for college.
That too, so it's like, it just never ends. That's another thing.
The food, but that doesn't really matter.
But also traveling, like if you want to travel with your kids, it's kind of hard. Like once you guys are a couple, you guys can do pretty much go, do, and like whatever you want. But when you have a child, you kind of have to think twice about where you want to go and how much it's going to cost and if your kids are allowed to go. So that's another thing. That's it. So the next question is, has your partner been supportive in this project so far? Name a highlight and low light of your experience so far. Yeah, I do believe my partner has been supportive. I mean, like, he's not complained about the baby, and like if I can't take care of him or I can't take him a certain day, he would volunteer to take him, which was really nice of him. And she shows him off a lot on social media, so that's another funny thing. It's a highlight and low light of your experience. A highlight was it did open my eyes and made me realize how hard it is to take care of a child. And a low light would be just having to walk around with it at school, because I mean I already have stuff to carry and it was just hard.
So the second question is, has your partner been supportive in this project so far? Yeah, my partner has been supportive, because the days I couldn't take him, she would take him, or like we would just switch off, and she would be there. Like if I needed to use the restroom, she would take care of him. And a highlight would be just opening my eyes to seeing how hard it is to have a baby, even though I had a sack of sugar, but just knowing babies are more to handle because they cry and you have to feed them every once in a while. And a low light, I don't know, probably just forgetting him everywhere I went. Well, not everywhere, but just in the classes. But yeah.
So our next question was, what would it be like to take care of a child that has the genetic disease you are studying? And our genetic disease, since we're Latin Americans, would be cystic fibrosis, which it says it's a genetic disorder and it affects mostly lungs, so you have kind of like a hard time breathing. And then it also
your fingers start to clubbing, and it's like it makes them fatter at the tips, kind of like eating.
Yeah, or like they call them like drum fingers, like your nail starts growing over or something.
I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah, but
and your toes, and then I feel like it wouldn't be that much different. Just the only difference would be like taking him to the hospital for visits. I mean, doctors, and then like medical bills going up, and then like medication that he would need. But other than that, he's still my child. I wouldn't treat him differently just because he has a disease.
But it would be hard though, because it's like it's hard enough to take care of a child with no disease and no sort of
or just
problem.
Add more stuff to the plate.
Yep, and the cost would go up, and with our jobs, that would not work. So yeah. The last question is, how is this project similar and different to what you would expect if you had a real child? It would be extremely different, because this is just a sack of sugar. Like, if I wanted to, I could throw it in the trash and no one would care for it. But I mean, a child, it's not like you're gonna have to actually buy stuff for it, feed it, bathe it, and do all sorts of things that you didn't do with the sack of sugar. So it would be completely different. Something similar, I mean, I carried the baby around for about 3 weeks or 2, So that would be something similar because I had him 24/7, and it would kind of be like a divorced family because I don't go home with my partner and she doesn't go home with me. So I mean, with a real child, I mean, there's cases like that people are divorced and they just like um, not exchange or whatever, but they take turns on having the child or whatnot. And then one last thing, different. My child doesn't have an actual disease. It's a sack of sugar. So for an actual child, that would be a lot harder.
So the third question is, how is this project similar and different to what you would expect if you had a real child? Well, if I had a real child, I guess a similar thing would be carrying it and like taking it everywhere I would have to go. And different, it would be like feeding him, changing the diaper, burping him, making sure he doesn't cry. If he cries, to rock him or whatever. And like to buy all these clothes for him and like a stroller. And even to plan like its future. Well, not to plan, but like to teach him like new, like the things he needs to know, like the ABCs and all that. But I enjoyed it. It opened my eyes